Now we are talking about size, quantity, and dimension, right? So we have to look at these following list and decide whether we are talking about something big, that is in terms of size, quantity, and dimension, or something small, and we have to underline the answers. First is minute. Minute is actually small, small. Note the pronunciation of minute in the sense it is like minute, right? Minute. Minutiae is the other form. Then minuscule. Minuscule again is talking about a small piece of cloth. Enormous is big. Mammoth is big. Huge is big. Vast is big. Gigantic is big. Tiny is small. Monumental is big. Colossal is big. Plenty is big. Loads of data, loads of things. Big. Narrow escape. Big, smaller. Giant, giant company. Big. Gargantuan you can speak. 15. Gargantuan, as the name suggests itself, it is big. Wide, wide avenue. Wide road. Big. Broad river. Broadway. Big. Tall, very tall man. Big. High, higher mountain. High peaks. Big. Deep lake. Deep lake. And deep thought. Big thought. Shallow. Shallow. 21 is what? It's small. Means not so deep. Shallow water. Long distance. Big. Long distance ahead. Vast. Big. Tons. Tons means lot of. Big. Great deal of time. Great deal. Big. Now we need to complete these sentences using one of the expressions we have just studied or seen in the previous question. In certain cases, more than one answer. So the first one is, before you embark on dash, it is essential that you are well prepared. When you embark on long distance journey, long distance journey, long distance journey. Second, we spend dash working on the plans for the new library. This is pertaining to time. So we spent a great deal of time. A great deal of time. Right? I love the Museum of Modern Art and have been there loads of times. Loads of times. Loads of times. Then we have fourth, there is small grey spot in the corner of all my photographs. So I guess dash must have got into the camera and ended up on the sensor. Fourth, a minute amount of dust, you can say, a small amount of dust. So a minute amount of dust. Minute amount of dust. Fifth, villages along the coast were destroyed when dash caused by the earthquake swept houses into the sea. Fifth, when gigantic waves, because we are talking about coast and earthquake result in gigantic waves, so we will use gigantic waves. Sixth, in my opinion, playing computer games for hours on end is sixth, a huge waste of time. A huge waste of time. Waste of time. Waste of time. Seventh, dash of the Greek god. You can call it Poseidon, or some may call Poseidon. It's up to you. So we'll say Greek god stood by the entrance to the harbor. So seventh one will be a colossal statue. A colossal means big. A colossal statue. And despite the poor harvest, there was dash for the whole population. Eighth one, plenty of food. Plenty of food. Plenty of food. Ninth, dash called the Thames. Thames is actually a river. Separates the city of London from the suburbs to the south. So we can add here in ninth one a broad river called Thames. Broad river. Then tenth, dash gathered to see their favorite football team. 10. We can add here a vast crowd of supporter. A vast crowd of supporter. Crowd of supporter. Then 11th, we are dash or we ate dash and then lay down to rest. We ate. What we can add? You can add two things. You have already used plenty of food. You can use plenty of food here. But gargantuan meal, this also you can add because it maintains the same identical meaning. 12th, 12th. The most impressive place in the building is dash called the Great Hall, which can hold over 3,000 people. 12. A vast room, big room. 13th. We have dash to do in the next few days, so I suggest we start as soon as possible. 13. We have a mammoth job or tons of work. We have a mammoth job or tons of work to do. 14th, Loch Ness or Loch Ness is dash in the Highlands of Scotland. 14th, a deep lake. Actually, it's a lake, so it's we can enter here a deep lake. A deep lake. Deep lake. 15th, the only evidence of the crime was dash, which was stuck on a branch of one of the trees in the garden. 15th, the only evidence of the crime was, you can add a minuscule piece of cloth, something like this. A minuscule piece of cloth you can add, right? 16. Sumo is dash containing almost 1,000 pictures by the controversial photographer Helmut Newton. Sumo. 16. Sumo, an error. Can you add an enormous book? Sumo is actually an enormous book you can add, yes. An enormous book containing almost 1,000 pictures by the controversial photographer. 17. I had dash to do, so took the phone off the hook, made myself some coffee and sat down at my desk. 17. I had a mammoth job. I had tons of work, you can add tons of work to do. 18th, the Matterhorn dash in Switzerland has claimed the lives of many who have tried to climb it. 18. This Matterhorn is actually a mountain, so it's a high mountain. So we can add the Matterhorn, a high mountain in Switzerland. 19. He made dash in his calculation and had to start all over again. 19 is quite simple, and you can just add monumental error, a big mistake or a giant mistake, but the best is a monumental error. 20. The manufacturer have built dash which is ideal for getting around the city. So we can add here a tiny car. 21. The NEC in Birmingham is dash which is used for concerts and exhibitions. 21. NEC in Birmingham is a giant building, so you can easily add a giant building. 22. The main feature of the town is dash lined with shops and cafes. 22. Wide avenue. A main feature of town is a wide avenue lined with shops and cafes. 23. I could see the key glittering at the bottom of. I could see the key glittering at the bottom of a shallow pool. A shallow pool. 24. Early European settlers in Central and South America heard legends of Dash called El Dorado, who covered himself in gold dust. El Dorado. 24. A tall man. Actually, he was very tall. So, a tall man. A tall man. 25th. Dash ran along the side of the house to the garden at the rear. We can add a narrow alleyway. A narrow alleyway. So this was about our size, quantity, and dimension, because it was speaking about long, great, small, tiny, shallow. So we'll be seeing spelling next. Thank you.